Ha! What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of Breaking the Base. This is episode 101. And since it is the end of the year, we're going to go ahead and end it off on a great send off of on the, I don't know, the best movies of 2017. I have with me here Miss Madam B. For right now, if King can get on, he will. But if not, we're just going to go ahead and just power on through this.
Hello.
Hey, la. Already, let's go ahead and get on into it. Now, this year has been a pretty good year for some pretty awesome movies, some really highly anticipated movies, some that hit the mark, some that didn't. Enjoyed ourselves regardless of we just enjoyed ourselves this year. So let's get on to it. I guess we'll go ahead and do what you had said. We'll let you go first, and then I'll go. We'll just name the movies, and we'll just go back and forth. Some movies I've seen she has, and some movies she's seen I haven't.
Okay. So this is the best, right?
Yep.
And now, I think I'll start off with. So if we do agree, we just have the same thing.
Just throw a little comment. It doesn't have to be like deep. It was a great movie. She did a great performance. There was a lot of action. Next.
Okay, I'll say It.
Definitely like that one. That was great. I think it was that made it such a great. It was just the performances, the style, the way it looked. Just like what?
Well, basically. Well, all of it, what you said from the original to this one, they did change it up. The what do you call it? Screenplay, the script. Yeah.
Ooh, she said scripts. I'm messing with you. Have a little fun. We're talking about the dancing clown that eats kids.
Okay.
I'm just messing with you. I thought it was a great movie. I liked his. I liked Skarsgård's performance as It, and I liked the kids, and I did like the presentation, especially I felt the modernism that it felt, even though it does take place, I believe, in the 80s. Good horror movie. In fact, it is the highest grossing horror movie of all time, I think.
Well, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that we agree.
That's one of the one highly anticipated movies that people that thought was going to fail, and it didn't.
Right, and look what it. Oh, that's good. And I like the budget they worked with. Movies should have like a decent budget, and that had a decent budget, and then it made.
It made like, I don't know what that, like 12 times as much.
So
yeah,
yes,
that's good. I'm gonna say I'm gonna jump on Justice League. Now, Justice League had its problems, but I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I like the characters. I love the action. Yeah, the villain was kind of cardboard and kind of flat, but he was a badass too. The soundtrack was awesome.
Okay, but did nobody know who Steppenwolf or Steppen?
Steppenwolf?
Yeah, did nobody know who he was.
I mean, but if you think about it, like character from Thor Ragnarok, another great movie, funny, action packed, but nobody knew who Hela was because it's the origin story.
Yeah, it changed it. She was still mentioned either as Loki's daughter or no, I know that. In other things, she was mentioned as either as Loki's daughter or somebody else. So you say Hela had somebody kind of get the thing on who she was. I was surprised that Steppenwolf. So I don't know who he was.
Because think about it.
Seen.
And if you strictly go by the movies, because the people that don't know about the comics don't know about Steppenwolf. But the people that know the comics know who he is.
Okay.
And think about it. Thanos. Most of the people don't know who Thanos is, but everybody's highly anticipated to see this character.
Okay.
But
okay, what was the little bad stuff in?
You could tell a lot that was cut out of it, especially when it came to exposition on each of the characters, and a little bit more exposition on Steppenwolf himself. So that was probably some of the major ones. Power Rangers, I really enjoyed that one. It was a great incarnation of the Power Rangers. It was modern. I liked the way the Zords looked. I love the fact that in this one they trained. They had to learn how to become Power Rangers. Badass, completely.
Okay, so what about the other ones? The other Power Ranger?
I've never in my life liked those suits. The only exception is the first movie where the suits were armored. And I thought because it looked tactical, it looked more realistic. In the show, they got the tights and stuff. I never liked that.
The ones you saw on TV early in the morning.
But I do like these because they look like a mixture of Power Rangers and Iron Man. That's what their suits look like. So they look pretty cool. What you got on your list?
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Awesome movie. That was really, it was dramatic. It had the feels. The visuals were great. Andy Serkis completely kills with not only as Caesar, but with the motion capture.
Oh, yes.
In fact, in Star Wars, the guy that plays Snook.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Awesome.
Good.
And since we did step into the whole Star Wars thing with Andy Serkis, Star Wars was awesome. And I love how this one was very like story driven. Like, you know what I'm saying? It had action, but it wasn't about the action. It had drama, but it wasn't solely about the drama. It was actually about establishing a good story. So I really appreciated that. And to me, I don't want to say it's better than The Force Awakens because I still enjoy The Force Awakens quite a bit. It's still a really good movie. Like when I grade the trilogies or something like that, it's hard for me to. They're like good. It's hard for me to put which one is on top. And I think at this point, Force Awakens are kind of like even.
Well, you would know a little bit more about that than me.
But you watched The Force Awakens.
I know, but I'm just saying they have a little thing where you have to go by. I was still kind of lost. It was a good movie, but I was still kind of lost. I don't like being lost.
Well, I told you before, those the other movies, a lot of that stuff that's in other movies don't even put a dent in this.
Okay. Wonder Woman.
Great movie. It kind of had its problems too, but it was a good movie. I really liked it.
And the problems you saw?
There were some conveniences, yes. There was some overuse of CGI and slow-mo.
Like what, toward the end?
Like throughout the whole movie. It was like a lot of slow. Now some of the slow-mo sequences were pretty cool. Up onto the battlefield and she just kind of does like this. Great. That was like a cinematic shot right there. What was the other one, like when she was fighting those guys in the warehouse?
Okay.
I like the slow-mo they used in that. It was pretty cool.
I like the one when Steve's plane blew up and she just sort of just let it all out. Very emotional for me. And then the music started. I almost stood up in the theater and was like, doing my battle cry,
But as far as like the first superhero movie I'm not gonna say it's the first because they had Supergirl back in the day, and people said the movie sucked. I hadn't seen it, but as far as like a nowadays first female superhero driven movie, Wonder Woman did a fantastic job. It set the bar high.
Really good.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. Gal Gadot did a great job. Gadot. I'm not gonna say Get Out anymore, but like Get Out, Get Out. Speaking of Get Out, that was a great movie. That was a great movie. It was really suspenseful. It had funny moments. It was a really good story. don't know what you're missing. That was a good one, and the themes that they kind of touched on were pretty good too. So if you hadn't seen Get Out, I don't know what the hell wrong with you. Go see the movie. I don't know what the hell wrong with you. Go see the movie. I'm just missing, gosh.
Okay.
I'm not missing.
Oh, Beast.
Beauty and the Beast. Fantastic incarnation of the this classic cartoon, fairy tale. It was done great. The visual effects were just top notch. The Beast looked great. The whole cinematic feel of the castle was just awesome. I love the story. I love how they added like little extra little things to it to help flesh it out. Like specifically, witch that cast the spell.
Yeah,
like that was great. And when it comes to Emma Watson, great cast as Belle. I know some people don't like her acting. I think she did a great job.
Her acting, I did get her mixed up with the girl from Twilight. My bad.
Kristen Stewart.
Yeah. So what was wrong with her acting? What did they say?
People said she was just like a bad cast. Watch the movie. She was great.
Right. So I mean, who do they expect? I mean, what did they want? Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie is going to be the witch that cast it. Going down, I just recently saw the movie Mother, which I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Great. It was a great movie if you understand it, because the whole movie feels like an acid trip. And it's definitely one of those movies, like if you watch it, you got to go back and read up on it so you'll know who these characters was, what this event was, why did this happen, how the story actually, it was very ass movie. But in the end, when I actually read up on it, and the performances, just great. Jennifer Lawrence definitely brought an A game on this one. And I love Javier Bardem in this movie. Too bad the other movie that he played in is this year sucked ass. And we will be talking about that in the next video.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was a great movie, like I said, if you understand it.
Okay, well, gonna say one that I did like a little bit. Boss Baby.
Boss Baby, I liked Boss Baby. We did say that kind of the motivation, not the motivation, kind of the it was a part that happens in the movie that is kind of stupid. I did, as far as how the movie's presentation of how children see the world.
Yeah, and how
I like that. That was great.
It's like, it's just like, okay, do all brothers or sisters see that? Like, when they're expecting another little brother or sister,
mm-hmm.
The baby is mean to him, the baby is evil, stuff like that. So it made a good representation of that.
That's the main thing that I liked about it. How they do explore the sibling rivalry, how you get to see how a child's imagination just flourishes. Mm-hmm. It was a great presentation of that. The villain, I can understand why the villain did what he did. But like the plan that he kind of had, mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna use like cute little poodles to
puppies.
We're gonna have these puppies go out so that parents would be less likely to have kids and focus more cuteness of the puppies. And to some extent, it kind of makes sense, but I don't know, but the movie overall is a good movie. It is a really good movie, and it does have some very touching moments. Most performances are done really well. Mm-hmm. Let's go back to we were talking about Thor Ragnarok. It was funny. It was action packed.
I didn't hear that mentioned.
I said it earlier.
Mm.
Yeah. And for all of those fans that have actually wanted to see that Thor and Hulk fight movie, and it is completely badass.
Mm.
It was definitely a great intense battle. Hela is one of the best villains in the whole MCU at this point. She was great, had personality, was completely badass. And you remember when I was saying that a lot of Marvel's bad guys they're interesting and have personality, but they aren't like kick ass. Mm-hmm. She is one of the few that was on there that was kick ass. So she was great character.
Yeah. Okay. What did it have? Anything spotty in it that you didn't like?
I told you we was talking about the Thor Ragnarok about how like the whole Sakaar thing, they could have did that a little bit better. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. What did you think about Gerald's Game?
I can't believe you actually liked that movie.
It was great.
Yeah,
it's a great movie. I mean, you can say if you don't like it. I thought it was great. Now, there was one scene in there that was really gross.
I mean, yeah,
hard to look at.
Okay, you mentioned that.
But it was it was an interesting story. What happened in her past helped her in that situation in the future. The whole guy with the red eyes, I like how they played that angle. Mm-hmm. You couldn't tell if he was real or not. And I love her two consciousnesses. The one that in prison, the one that wanted to keep her down, mm-hmm. and then the one that actually wanted her to succeed, which came in representation, which came in the form of her and her husband.
And so, then him.
See, it was pretty good. And plus, I know now not to use handcuffs on hard wood like that, just in case.
Okay. What did you think about The Discovery?
I still think that was a good movie. I think it was a really good movie. It was interesting. Kind of delved into the psyche of if you could like live your life over again, would you kill yourself now to do that? Remember that was one of the problems that the dad was having. He ended up just finding out that people were wiping themselves out by the millions.
Okay, yeah, right. Okay.
I did like Jason Segel. I thought he did a great job.
Yeah, he usually play in the
like goofy stuff.
Yeah.
He was actually pretty serious. I thought him and Rooney Mara had pretty good chemistry together. What was the other guy? Robert Redford. I liked him.
Yeah, it was Robert Redford.
Yeah, I liked him. He definitely caught my eye on that one. It was an interesting movie. That's one thing I would say was interesting. Straight up. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty good movie. And I got to bring this one up. Happy Death Day. I liked it. Now, I was listening to somebody say that the movie was uneventful and like stuff, Groundhog's Day or whatever, and the kills weren't spectacular. But I'm like, they weren't going for the kills. If somebody were to kill you over and over and over again, what incentive do they have to kill you different ways every single time? Mm-hmm. If they don't know that they're doing it.
I remember what you said about that. Okay.
Yeah, so like, but it was a good story. It was times it was moving at times, it was intense at times. And if you want to do the whole Groundhog's Day thing about how they want to compare that, fine. But I don't care. It was actually a good movie. It was a good idea.
How about Little Evil?
I was actually thoroughly surprised by that. I actually liked the movie.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. One of the funniest parts was when the stepdad was getting arrested, and then the boy started going demonic dead. He was like, no, wait. It was a surprisingly good movie.
So she just like remembered and started like, it's like, how did you get pregnant with him? And she started, when she started recounting all the events, his eyes kept getting bigger. Like, it was funny.
It was a good take on the whole Damien child of Satan kind of thing. It was a pretty good take. It was serious, but it wasn't too serious. That was a pretty good one. You didn't watch it, but I watched Fate of the Furious. And for those who don't know, Fast and Furious 8. Overblown, over the top. Fine. But I gotta give it to him. Like, it was an entertaining movie.
Like what, fast cars and
like the way they did, like in this one, they had to deal with a cyber terrorist. Mm-hmm. And one of the best sequences in the movie is what do you call it when there's they have the car in the middle and then they have like the police cars around them escorting them. It was an escort in this town, right? So the cyber terrorist was programming the cars around them. Doing like, you remember World War Z, the way those zombies were piling over each other?
Yeah.
It was one part where they had all these cars coming around the corner, cars, and they was like piling all over each other. They would kept coming. Like the way they did that sequence was like, then another part. While they were converging all these cars in this one area, mm-hmm. they got to this like parking lot, multi-level parking lot, and they were cutting the cars on up there and making them drive off the cars they was coming through. I was like, that's pretty badass. That's actually pretty cool.
Like, okay, the way they did the scene is what you're talking about.
Like the idea of it, the way it was done, and it was like, dang, people can cyber terrorists actually do that? Like they was accessing all of these cars, turning them on and stuff.
What you said about that, now you gotta just, okay, was it too much, or are they getting too much by doing? Are they losing themselves along the way, or you think they're getting better with?
The movie can still be entertaining and can tell a decent story. And they are, and I will admit this with them, they are coming up with new ideas.
Okay.
I will say I did like about it. Like the whole cyber, even the submarine sequence. Mm-hmm. Like that one was pretty cool. I just, the only thing I didn't like about it was kind of the beginning. But outside of that, it was really good. And I did like Charlize Theron. She was like a good bad guy in this movie. And they got the one guy from Game of Thrones with the orange hair. And dude was awesome. He's very intense. Like, go ahead and tell him.
Let me see it.
Oh.
That's what I was saying.
You watched that movie I Boy with me, right?
Yes, I watched like some of it. Either I was dozing off in the middle of it, but I know I did not see all of it.
Okay. I'm going to say like this. There's a movie called Slight or whatever, mm-hmm. and there's a movie called I Boy. There's these two cats that end up kind of living in the slums. Well, I don't know. And I Boy, because both of them are good. In I Boy, this boy gets shot in the head and a piece of his cell phone gets lodged in his brain. So he ends up developing like technopathic type powers. So he control like cell phones and access different waves, I'm saying phone waves and stuff like that. Say some phone waves. And like that was pretty good. It was actually a pretty good movie. And it was interesting too. Slate, the same thing. Dude that was down his luck, trying to be a magician, developed this thing in his arm to allow him to kind of manipulate metal. So it looked like he was doing magical tricks. And by the end of the movie, he ends up using it to be kind of like a badass. But that was actually a pretty good movie. It was not. It was, and the thing about it is, it wasn't just the fact that they had these powers. It was the drama in their lives that kept it interesting. Mm-hmm. So those were pretty good.
Shimmer Lake.
Is that the one where the guy?
Everything is told in reverse.
Yes, that one was pretty good.
With also, if you have seen it, you might notice one of the characters, and if you've seen The Office, which I have, Dwight from The Office plays a very, very good character there. It's kind of hard to try to, but he played that role good. Yeah, he really did.
And I love the fact that it was playing backwards.
Yes, they knew how to handle it, and at the end, you wasn't like, okay, what just happened? You like knew. So that was good. I like the way they did that.
And wasn't you the one that recommended watching it?
I did.
That was actually a really good choice on your part. Great movie. If y'all see Shimmer Lake on Netflix or whatever, watch the hell out of it. That was a good movie. That movies like that is good editing, great storytelling, good direction. So I recently just watched The Valerian and The City of a Thousand Planets. And I would say, I think the movie bombed, but I don't think it's a bad movie. It was interesting. It was action-packed. It had good action in it. And visually, one of the best movies, one of the best movies visually this year. Hands down. And I like the two main cast, Dane DeHaan, and I can't remember the girl's name. And I thought they had great chemistry together. But it was an interesting concept. All of these different species, human nations come together. All of these alien nations came together, built this big, almost artificial, like a big space station. And they all work together to live. They all live together and work together. So that was a good concept. I was very, as far as the story and all that, was an interesting story, but the world itself pulled me in. Aliens, they're responsible for this, and who are these aliens? How are they a part of this society and stuff like all of that? The technology too was just badass, especially the whole shift dimensions. They had this technology that let them shift dimensions and bring stuff from different. That part was really good.
All right. I don't know if you're trying. I don't know this is a big name movie. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of course, that was good.
Okay.
Kurt Russell killed it as Ego. That man is that when it comes to those type of characters, he's just great. What made him so cool was he was likable. And
even though he turned out as being an ass.
Yeah, but he was just he was such a likable, cool guy. But the action was good. The story was actually moving too.
Yeah.
Just on that, and I like how the characters developed. They did a better. They developed in this one, in the first one.
Yeah.
And so there was that too. Great action. I love the space battles they had. Pretty cool cliffhanger with the atom that the chick was trying to make at the end. Should have looked that up to see what she was talking about, because I didn't know what the hell she was talking
about. Did they mention a third, or do you think?
The third one. But of course they're going to tie in with the Avengers in the next movie, so.
Well, you got more on here than me. Yours.
Kong Skull Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And back with Avengers in that movie. I like the 2005 version, but if you want to see some King Kong whoop some tail, I would say watch the 2005 version. But watch this one too, because he goes ham in this movie. And I love how they explore Skull Island.
Yeah.
I still don't like the whole on there, honestly, because it seems like an island like that, and where they were staying, if those skull crawler things were that bad, wipe out that military thing. So it seems like they probably shouldn't be there. I would like to just seen what's his face, the one that died that we don't see. Nope.
Okay. I thought they worshipped them, or was they scared of them?
They were scared of the Skullcrawlers. That's why they built that big wall.
Okay.
Trying to keep them out.
Okay. You right.
And the Skullcrawlers were really cool, like antagonistic force in that movie. I like the Kong design, and I love the reveal.
He came out. Hold up.
Remember, it's like the camera is panning with the helicopters, and then you just see him standing. As it kept panning up, you can see him standing in front of the sunset, or is it sunrise? No, the sunrise. And he was just standing there, like the pictures, the way they got the pictures. Yeah,
and they got into it pretty quick too. Like the action part of it.
Yes, didn't pull no punches with that. And one of my favorite parts of that movie has to be that spider fight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like these guys are walking through these like bamboo trees and everything, right? And then one looks up, face, or in the mouth. Spoilers. I'm just gonna. By this time, you probably seen the movie, right? Don't care. They end up fighting this like 80-foot tall spider.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was the legs. His legs were like taller than the tree. One was like a really cool fight because not only are they trying to avoid getting stepped on by these pinched by his legs, which are sharp as hell, it's trying to eat them at the same time. So that was a pretty cool. And like I said, the Skullcrawlers were badass. To save that for like a later antagonistic force for him to fight.
What about the build of Kong? Did you like the way?
Yeah, they took it back to the 1980s version where he stands more like a man. So I like how they did that. I didn't have at first. I kind of had a problem with it, but then I actually seen it. I was like,
got abs and 6-pack and you know all that.
And then they showed him able to climb with his feet. 2005 version. So I was like, okay, they did it. They did it right. Okay, I like that. It was pretty good, and he was smart.
Right.
And he was huge. Like, dude, that boy was bug.
So, and then it's like the island for like huge ass animals because everyone you saw was like huge.
I still wish they could have did more with the them encountering more monsters. They avoided them. Whether you see them fighting in the distance with other creatures or something, still would have seen a little couple more.
See that part.
Yeah. Because remember, she told him not to shoot.
Okay.
And the thing just walked right past and left him alone.
Yeah, he would have got messed up anyway.
Remember when I was playing that Final Fantasy 15, they had those giant bull things. They're like level 50. I said, oh, and I ran away. But I liked it. That was a great one. Okay. Great one. Okay. What about the movie Veronica?
I need a little more. I remember it.
Okay, the bad girl went to go stay with the psychologist.
Okay.
Yes, like that one was
nice.
Good.
It was good at the end.
Good twist.
Good twist at the end. I'm like, so all of that. So you was just, yeah.
And it was a slow. Is that like a mystery, a dramatic mystery?
And I came across it just actually. I like to look at different movies on Netflix, or oldies back in the day, and I did come across this, and I was like,
IMDb gave it a 5.8 out of 10. They should at least be a 7. Gosh, IMDb sucks. But that was actually a really good movie. And it was a slow build up. And I like that's what makes it great.
That way at the end it just punched you right in the face.
It was a great payoff. Punching in the face. I seen somebody take a shark to the face.
47 meters down.
Yeah, that was a suspenseful movie.
Okay, I'll give it a half and half.
Man, what makes the movie so good? It was the atmosphere. Stuck down there.
Underwater. Yeah.
And it wasn't just underwater, it was the depth. Because remember, when a girl was swimming, she got lost, and you saw what she saw.
Yeah, that is scary.
Yeah, she couldn't see anything.
Oh my God, don't say it.
Like, to her sister was kind of messed up. But
do we know for sure?
Yeah, she had to accept it at the end.
I'm just saying they
didn't show it.
They're talking about a sequel already.
Why? She went down there again?
I don't know.
Did the sequel start up when her sister got dragged off?
I don't know.
Help! Don't save her, save me!
Right.
But I like the twist that they did on that one too, because it was like that's like one of the movies where like you think it ends and then it just keeps going, but it actually was good how I did that. I think every year we should have a really good shark movie. Last year was The Shallows. Now this year was 47 Meters Down.
Yeah, I just couldn't be down there and then look out and it's all that just darkness.
That's
just water.
Yeah, that was literally some of the scariest. And I'm like one of them dudes. I'm like, if I was like in like spelunking or something, would kind of make me feel.
I would probably have an anxiety attack.
Yeah, and in that instance, it's like you don't know where you're going. Like it was damn near pitch
you
black.
even start to have the slightest little bit. So I don't know about even spelunking.
But as far as a suspenseful thriller, 47 Meters Down takes it. Not to mention, them sharks are brutal. I was like, good God. Get the hell back to the cage. Oh my God. Oh.
Look, you said they did how many cuts? In
the trailer, you keep seeing these cuts before a shark attacks somebody. It was like cut. I'm like,
like, how many people did he eat? Did he eat somebody?
Oh man, that was actually a pretty suspenseful movie. I did say I saw the Blade Runner 2049. I didn't like the first one because I felt it was too slow paced. Deckard is supposed to be this badass, but I don't see it throughout the entire movie. I did think the story was interesting. This one is a continuation of that, and I actually like this one because the story was really good. There was some action in it that was done rather well, and the performances were pretty cool. Not to mention they had an interesting twist to it too. Leto was in this movie, and he was actually pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah, he was the guy that built these synthetics. Hell. Let me look it up right quick. But it was actually a pretty and I liked him. Like I said, ever since I liked his performance as the Joker, so I'm like kind of keeping an eye out for him. And they actually did replicates. That's what they're called. Bioengineered humans. They have enhanced strength.
Okay, how much time do we have? What, for one more?
No, we got a couple.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know about this because I was kind of no. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say because there's a lot of movies that can be worse than that.
I'm not gonna say it was a bad movie, but I'm not gonna say it was like the best movie because I thought it was gonna be like this big thriller.
It actually more build up than that.
Yeah, it felt like it was gonna be like what's that with Tom Hanks? Angels and Demons and Da Vinci Code. It felt like gonna be like something like that.
You made this. You made that movie. You bring something into this movie. getting what I thought it was gonna build up, it ended.
I'm not gonna. It was. I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep in a part of the movie, maybe 5 minutes.
Okay,
tops.
so I just made a big mistake then. So I'm sorry. That was probably a worse movie. And it was good. I just
no. So look at some of these movies on this list. That movie was not the worst. Spider-Man: Homecoming, on the other hand, was actually pretty awesome. That one was a really good movie. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Was it Tom Holland, Peter Parker, Michael Keaton, badass as the Vulture.
Okay.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh,
no, he played it. For those who like the Wolverine, Logan was actually a pretty good movie. A bit slow paced and pretty emotionally impactful moments in this movie. I still say it could have been better, but it was actually a good enough movie and probably the best Wolverine movie that we've gotten. It was really good. Oh, Ken is online. He's gonna have to join us for the worst. Look, we just brought up Logan and Spider-Man. I just got to talking about it. Unless he wants to come in with another one, we'll get more in depth with it later. But for after this one, we're going to definitely do the worst movies. I go Batman was pretty good. Funniest superhero was one of the funniest superhero animated movies that we saw was Batman and Harley Quinn. That one was freaking ridiculous. I love that. That one was funny. And it's good to see that it explores a different side of Batman that we don't really get to see. And I like that. Mm-hmm. I watched the Justice League, Teen Titans, the Judas Contract, and also the Justice League Dark. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Those were really good too. You need to watch them. That was actually pretty good.
Right.
I'm gonna nod my head just like this.
Right.
Also, there was a zombie, one of the British zombie movies called "The Girl with All the Gifts." Actually, a pretty good movie with a pretty interesting storyline. It's basically about in a world full of zombies. This small military unit is having to that's half zombie to help them survive. Mm-hmm. Great job. And I love the direction of the movie. Of course, it did kind of have that B movie feel to it, where certain characters kind of make like dumb decisions, and there was some moments in it that could have been better. One of them being like, okay, the base got overran, but it's like they don't say how it got overran, especially with all of this military stuff. It's like still a good movie, and I did like Washington because she was in the movie too.
Okay.
We still got a few more.
All right. Let's take it back some years and go with 1922.
Wow. Oh, I thought you I want to talk about a movie from 1922. Wow. You got me on that one. But I wanted to bring that up. 1922 was actually a pretty good movie. I really am. But see, that movie is it's a slow paced movie. A movie like that, the performances, and they did a great job. Good job. What's the guy that plays in it? Michael Jane, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I closed my eyes through some of it. Did you say the?
That's the guy that he was the Punisher. Thomas Jane, that's what it is. I said Michael Jane. Thomas Jane was in the movie. Yeah, he was actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. I honestly, when it first half of the movie, I couldn't. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was him or not because the way he had his face and the makeup and all that. But that was actually a pretty good movie. It's like one of those movies you can't tell if it's like supernatural or not because all the stuff that was happening. And it's like, was it circumstance? So was it like a supernatural thing? Kind of like when he kind of saw his wife. It was actually
no.
Well, it actually was a ghost, or was it like in his head? Like it was actually a good movie. Slow paced.
Yeah.
Yes, the rats. They come out of the closet doing this.
It was kind of. I like how back in when he did that, and then to that day, because he still saw the rats. So I wonder, was he eaten by them?
Like I said, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But remember, I kind of was like on his side before they did what they did. I like, because she's kind of being a douchebag. I was like, okay, that's kind of messed up. I will say, John Wick 2. I wasn't sure about it. But when I actually watched John Wick Chapter 2, actually a pretty awesome movie. Action-packed. It's an interesting story that delves into that whole hitman mafia world that they got going on in that setting. It was actually pretty good and pretty interesting. So I really appreciated like how awesome that was when it came to that movie. When I don't care what nobody says, when it comes to like serious characters and the fight and the choreography and stuff like that, the man hands down is really good. Proved it in the Matrix, and nice proving it again in this John Wick. And he definitely owns that character. So there is that for them. So that's as far as that's about it for yeah. I'm like woo. Let me stop. I'll just be stupid.
Well, as far as we're concerned, those are our 2017 best movies. Best for us may not be for you. So, okay.
Yeah. All right then, guys. You heard our impressions, our thoughts and opinions of the best movies of 2017. And in the comment section below, let us know what yours are, and possibly some that we missed or didn't mention because we got so many down the list. Also, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on here on the Narik Chase channel. And again, I thank Madam B, and I hope she sticks with me for the worst films of 2017.
Bye, live.
Bye, live.